Hi, I'm Peter Tragos, host of the Lawyer You Know podcast and YouTube channel. The saying goes, everyone hates lawyers until you need one. Well, I'm here when you need one to answer your questions and give you insight that you didn't know you needed. Along with my partners, Pete Sardis, the professor, who has a finance and business background, and George Tragos, my dad, and the consigliere, a criminal defense giant, we can answer any questions you have.
All right. So now is the time that we're going to talk about what's going on with Will Smith. All right. So stuff's happening in the Will Smith case. Some of it legal, some of it not. We're going to talk through some of the things that are happening that I find interesting. We'll talk about some of the best conspiracy theories coming from it. And then, of course, we'll talk about a lot of the legal crossover still that could come forward on this case. We all have talked through and argued about whether it's real, whether it's fake, whatever it may be. But there are some very interesting aspects of this case that still leave people wondering. You all gave me videos in the last video that we did. You put in the chat, hey, go watch the video Will Smith slaps a reporter. Go watch the video when Will Smith was on Arsenio Hall and made a bald joke. Well, I did that. I looked at all the links. I watched all of the videos. And my four girls, I will get to the questions at the end and I will answer your questions. And I watched all those videos and I agree with you. It does seem hypocritical. It doesn't seem like a great look for Will Smith. On Arsenio Hall, he clearly makes a bald joke to some guy in the audience. Same exact kind of setup. It was a different joke. Same exact kind of setup of Chris Rock making a joke to Jada Pinkett Smith. However, Will Smith, even in that video, says, come on, it was just a joke. So somebody may have given him a look or something for the joke he made on Arsenio Hall, and he says, come on, it's just a joke. Similarly to Chris Rock doing that when Will Smith got upset about the G.I. Jane joke. Now, on the other hand, Will Smith slapping the reporter, I didn't think was quite as horrible as some people were making it sound in the chat. It's not great whenever you put hands on people, but I do think the reporter took it too far, physically hugging and kissing on Will Smith when he didn't want him to. And it was just a little tap. It wasn't a full swing slap across the face like he did to Chris Rock. Although not a good look if you have other bad acts in your history like Will Smith slapping somebody else, then it's not good when you slap somebody on national TV. Okay? So the next part is people commenting about what's happening. And you have comedians like Jim Carrey coming out saying he would sue Will Smith for hundreds of millions of dollars. We cannot set this precedent. It's bad for comedians, bad for comedy clubs, bad for award shows, all the things we mentioned in our very first video the morning we had it, reacting to what happened last night. Before anybody else was talking about it, everybody seems to be on the same page, which I think is really interesting, is all these people do not want the precedent to be set and it to be a bad precedent. A lot of actors, especially comedians, are coming out saying, we don't want the floodgates to open for people thinking they can just walk on stage. Same thing with streakers or people running onto fields. They get tackled by security for a reason. We want to protect the people that are working. You know, the athletes, the NFL, NBA guys are there working on the field or the court. We don't want them to get injured. Chris Rock was working on stage, and we don't want him to get injured and have to worry about that or deal with that. Joe Rogan made a good point. For all the people that are standing up for Will Smith saying, yeah, he stood up for his wife, he's really willing to stick his neck out on the line and do whatever it takes to defend his wife. Joe Rogan said in reality, Will Smith got up, slapped the guy that was smaller than him, knowing security wasn't going to do anything, knowing he wasn't going to get thrown out, knowing he wasn't going to get arrested. So what did he really risk going on stage and slapping Chris Rock? Which is an interesting thought. Did he really risk something defending his wife? If this was in the back of a dark alley and somebody said something to his wife, would he have done the same thing when there was real consequences on the line? Interesting. It's just interesting to hear these different perspectives of people breaking down what they think and feel about this situation. Now, when we get to some of the conspiracy theories, because a lot of people are still out there saying it's fake. I've had people come in the comments and say, I'll stop watching your channel or listening to your channel if even 1% of you thinks this was fake. Only a fool would think this was fake. Okay, then call me a fool if you'd like. 1% of me. I still think it was real. I absolutely think it was real, and I think some of the stuff we're going to talk about after about what happened backstage and what the Academy is doing now absolutely makes me think that this is real. But if you watch the different angles of this video, and I think Michael Rappaport posted a video of Jada Pinkett Smith right after the slap happened, she laughed. Right after the slap happened, if you watch Will Smith as he turned around to walk away, it looks like he's smirking or laughing. Will Smith, as everybody's already pointed out, was clearly laughing when the joke was first told. And not until the "keep my wife's name out your effing mouth" was screamed multiple times, and Chris Rock responded with, "bro, it was a G.I. Jane joke." Not until there did it kind of feel like, no, this is actually real. And I do believe it's real. I absolutely believe it was real. But I think that there are some things, some angles, some camera angles and videos that make me think like this doesn't all make sense and it doesn't all add up. And people are actually using the legal crossover now as an additional point to this conspiracy theory. And I'll kind of explain it to you as somebody explained it to me when they asked me. So we've already heard Chris Rock is not pressing charges. And it's been confirmed that in California, actually, the state attorney does have discretion to press charges without the victim, although they don't often do it. It doesn't seem like they're going to do it in this case. So one of the reasons Chris Rock might not be pressing criminal charges is because it was a hoax. And I'm not saying this is me, I'm saying this is the conspiracy theory. It's because it was a hoax, and he does not want to find himself in literally the same position as Jussie Smollett. Everybody's on his side right now. But if he calls the cops, says it was a hoax, and Will Smith said, you know what, cat's out of the bag, this was all fake, we did it for publicity or whatever we wanted to do it for, now Chris Rock could have criminal charges coming against him. He doesn't want to open himself up to get Jussie Smolletted. And so that's why he hasn't pressed charges or, gone after him criminally or civilly, gone after Will Smith. Okay. Once again, I don't believe that. I don't agree with that. I think it's an interesting conspiracy theory. I actually think the real reason Chris Rock is not pressing charges is because he doesn't want to seem petty. He doesn't want to seem like an opportunist. He doesn't want to seem like a jerk. He's trying to take the high road. He's trying to be the bigger man. He's trying to, he hasn't come out and said, there was a fake apology that came out from Chris Rock saying, sorry for what I said. I really apologize. I didn't mean to hurt feelings. So he hasn't really done anything like that, which I think is a good move for Chris Rock at this point because he was doing his job. He made a joke. Did the joke cross the line? Maybe. Should he not have said it? Maybe. That's something that could have been handled afterwards. He did not deserve to get struck in the face. I think most of us can agree with that. So I think the real reason he hasn't pressed any charges or gone after him is he doesn't want the hassle. He doesn't want the backlash. He doesn't want people calling him a cupcake or soft or things like that. Like, big deal, you got slapped because you talked about a man's wife. He didn't want all of that. He wanted to take the high road. That's why I think he's not pressing criminal or civil charges at this point. Mel, I don't think he should apologize. That's my point. Other people have said he would, and a fake apology came out. So there have been reports about the Academy stepping in. So what can the Academy do, legally speaking, and how could it maybe solve this problem that a lot of society is having with Will Smith is not getting punished for what he did like anybody else would, and we think he should be punished for this. So the Academy first came out and said they told Will Smith to leave, and he was very aggressive and refused to leave. Well, now multiple sources are saying that they had multiple meetings. Somebody came out and told Will that the consensus was, and what we all decided is that we want you to stay. So he ended up staying, and he won the award and gave the tearful speech and got a huge platform and more time than anybody else that won got to speak. So the Academy comes out and says they have to leave. Now it turns out, well, maybe that wasn't true. So the Academy is taking another step now and saying that they are going to do a few things. And I'm going to read them as kind of a list. First, they have officially condemned Will Smith's behavior. Second, they are now citing their bylaws and opening an investigation as to the appropriate action for Will Smith, not punishment, but the appropriate action. The investigation will take a few weeks. They ask for respect during the process, and it's going to be an expedient and respectful process that they run. They will explore future, and this is a comment from someone in the Academy, not actually an official statement from them, but they said, according to them, they will explore further action and consequences in accordance with their bylaws and standard of conduct and California law. So we know he violated California law. It's either assault or battery, depending on what you want to charge it under. Technically, it could probably fit into both statutes. And those charges or those penalties for under California law, what Will Smith did, could be a fine somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 and up to 6 months in jail. Now, the 6 months in jail would never happen for a first-time offender or anything like that. But those are the punishments we're looking for. So what do we think? And let me know in the comments. What do you think the Academy will actually do as a consequence or punishment to Will Smith? Because it seems like they're our only option at this point. It doesn't seem like Chris Rock is going to sue them. It doesn't seem like law enforcement is going to do anything because Chris Rock doesn't want to press criminal charges and they're not likely to do it without cooperation from the victim. What do you think the Academy will do? I don't even know what they can do, to be honest. I guess they could take away the award, ban him from future awards. But what do you think they would do? And what do you think would be fair for the Academy to do to Will Smith as a consequence and a response for the behavior that they have now condemned publicly? They're condemning his behavior before doing this very thorough investigation. So I think it's a really interesting take that the Academy is stepping up and they're going to try to do something, because at this point they seem like the only governing body that can have some consequence for Will Smith. What else has the Academy done? Well, they have issued an apology to Chris Rock. Mr. Rock, we apologize to you for what you experienced on our stage, and thank you for your resilience in that moment. We also apologize to our nominees, guests, and viewers for what transpired during what should have been a celebratory event. So they're apologizing. They're agreeing they had some wrongdoing in this. So people have asked the question, could Chris Rock sue them for not protecting him? Workers' compensation. He was working and got injured. And while it's true that workers' compensation covers any injury that you suffer at work, whether it's your fault, your employer's fault, or someone else's fault, work comp will cover that. Your employer has to qualify. They have to have work comp insurance. And also you have to be an employee most of the time. And most likely, Chris Rock, independent contractor type of deal, wouldn't be covered under work comp. So that's neither here nor there, but it was a legal question, so I wanted to answer it. However, he would potentially have a civil cause of action for some kind of negligent security, where he could sue for the damage of an injury for being slapped in the face, but also some kind of loss of future earnings. If now he doesn't ever want to do another Academy Award or any award show because he's in fear for this, or he just doesn't feel safe, or he's embarrassed now because of what happened to him on national TV because they didn't step in and provide enough security to not allow another man to walk on stage and slap him in the face. So he would potentially have a civil cause of action against the Academy. They even agreed it's their stage and it's their duty to protect the people on their stage. Now, will he do that? Probably not. Seems like he's not going to do anything like that. Seems like eventually he's going to make some kind of statement, probably take the high road again in his statement, and then this will all kind of pass by and be done. So more legal, civil, and criminal implications could happen, but it seems like at this point it's going to come down to the Academy. So that's what's happened kind of this week on Will Smith. We've done a couple videos on it. People seem to be interested in it. If you have any questions about this Will Smith saga, put it in the comments now, and I'm going to get to all the questions. I'm also going to read what you guys think the Academy should do or could do as far as a punishment for Will Smith, but I'll take one more second to make a quick announcement. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe. And immediately following this live, our interview with Curtis Reeves' lawyers, Rick Escobar and Dino Michaels, is going to run. Immediately following this live, right around 3:30, that video is going to run. And it was a really fun conversation. They had some very colorful words to describe the prosecutor. I believe one of them said they had a robot up there as a prosecutor. They also had some thoughts on the judge. They talked about which witnesses they think went well and which ones didn't. And you learn a lot about what it's like to be a criminal defense lawyer in this type of case. They also talked about how much this defense costed. And it is an astronomically high amount, although not surprising based on multiple trials and appeals and 8 years of work going into this case. So it's a really interesting interview. If you have time after this live is over, stick around for that interview. But for now, let's get into the comments and answer some Will Smith questions. I know there was one at the beginning that said, oh, nobody's answering my question, so I'm going to try to answer it. My four girls. No one is answering my question. Can Chris sue the Oscars? Because I know he can sue Will. Didn't I tell you I'd answer it? Yes, I think there is a way that he can sue the Academy. And I just explained it all, so no need to go into it again, my four girls. Hopefully you enjoy that answer. Chris said the slap was real and totally unexpected. I haven't seen any comments from him specifically that have been confirmed from him. But if so,